Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Avowed with me, BringItDon. Let's set up camp and talk to our companions. Listen out for dialogue first.
Yatsli, when all of this is behind us, are you going back to Fjord Mesivernal?
It's hard to imagine leaving forever, especially with Quilici still there. What about you? Vidaro's reversed your exile. You could return.
I haven't decided yet. On the one hand, it's tempting.
On the other, nothing's really changed. And you'd still have the same problems waiting for you there.
Exactly. You understand.
You're a brilliant woman, Giada. Whatever you decide, you'll be right.
You're too kind to me, Yatsli. I don't deserve you.
For all you put up with from me, I'm sure I could be kinder. But I'm always happy to help.
Alright, Yatsli, what do we got? Stick with the default, I think. Really, while we're in the desert, this one's probably better for Marius. We'll go back to this for Kai, because I do like seeing his whale amulet. I do really like this one. If I had the whale amulet, I'd probably stick with that, but... So almost back to the default for everybody. Oh, that is his default. Oh, that's right, I was using the obsidian. Huh. Alright, let's talk to everybody.
Listening to Yatsli's thoughts about godless ruins is one thing. Bringing her along for the rest of the trip is something else.
If you have something on your mind, say it.
I don't know, she's alright, okay? But how would she know how to get to the garden? If she's read anything about the garden, it was written centuries ago. Obviously, things have changed since then.
You have a better idea?
I don't know. Just following a lady who says she knows something about the garden just seems crazy to me. I'll go along with whatever you decide. Just don't be disappointed when she doesn't show you what you wanted to see. Anyway.
Alright, yeah, thoughts on companions.
Let's make sure they're not listening. The only one we haven't talked about is Yatsli. I don't trust her any further than I could throw her, which honestly isn't that far. She actually goes down into these ruins on purpose, just to see what's down there, I guess? And now she's trying to lead us to the garden. Might as well be searching for WoW's wacky wagon of mysteries. Nah, I'm sure she knows what she's doing, but what if she doesn't? You too.
Thirdborn. If it weren't for the Leviathan skeleton in the middle of town, I'd hardly recognize the place.
How so? Or yeah, when were you last here?
6 years ago. Feels longer now. You ever come back to a place and feel like the buildings are smaller and the colors are duller?
Is this about Tama?
No. Well, yes. But it's more than Tama. Thirdborn was always this rugged oasis. Dangerous and out of the way, but bursting with vitality. It was a harbor for larger-than-life types. People like Capo, the Leviathan Slayer, and Tama. Glory seekers, trophy hunters, warriors trying to leave their battles behind. People who built around their stories and their scars.
And now?
All that vigor's been wrung dry. Being back, it felt like we were watching Thirdborn die a slow death.
It may not have ever been quite the way you remember it.
Hey, let an old man have his delusions. I think what's eating at me is that Thirdborn seems rudderless. The Dream Scourge is one threat. Conflict with Adir is another. The Living Lands is changing, and Thirdborn feels like a barnacle on a moving ship. Temerity's leading them as best she can, but towards what? What are we doing out here besides surviving?
I mean, all of these are pretty good. Yeah, it's not enough to run from something. You need something to run to.
And right now, they're drifting. Yeah. What about you? You were sent by your Emperor to investigate the Dream Scourge. Since then, you've died, met a secret god, and gotten swept up in tensions between your empire and our scattered settlements. Between releasing Egwolf and thwarting the Steel Garrote and Emerald Stair, you've opposed your empire's interests. Do you know what you're sailing towards, or are you drifting with the tides?
Yeah, follow my principles, not my commands.
That kind of clarity is rare.
You said that before.
Thanks for talking. I hope Thirdborn is able to find its way somehow.
What kept you from returning to Thirdborn for so long?
I've got a lot of memories here. And the longer I stayed away, the harder it felt to come back.
Well, what's it like to return now?
Harder than I thought. Thirdborn's missing a lot of familiar faces. And the youngsters who've grown up and the new arrivals, they seem green. Like they're cut from a different cloth, a more delicate one.
Hey, congratulations, Kai. You're a grumpy old man.
I really do sound like my grandfather.
You smell like him, too.
How about you borrow Yatsley's ladder so you can say that to my face? Thirdborns only survived because the people were tougher than the wilds. I just hope the people living behind those walls know how to keep them standing. I can take watch. I'll be up a while anyway. Hope those dreams aren't keeping you up. My favorite subject.
Here we go.
You're asking me? I'm not much of a gossip. Okay, who do you want to know about?
What about Yatsley?
You know, just when I was thinking our little group was getting too solemn and serious, we met her. Sometimes I think she lives in her ruins and grimoires rather than in the real world with the rest of us. But she keeps things interesting and keeps us on our toes. What's more, she's a good friend to Giada, and Giada's a good influence on her.
What matters most is that she's a friend, that she's got our backs.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I just hope she keeps some part of herself grounded with the rest of us. She's brilliant, but I worry that the real-world consequences of the forces she plays with are academic to her. Maybe I shouldn't. Sure. Check your bedroll for fangworms.
Despite everything that's happened, I'm so grateful to be working with Yatsley. In many ways, Quilichi has been like a second father to me. But Yatsley, she's like my dirty aunt who's up to no good.
We all need a few bad influences in our lives.
Oh, she's an expert in that field. While I have your attention, I've been thinking. Why is Inquisitor Ludwig suddenly interested in godless ruins?
Maybe she knows more than she lets on.
She's a smart one. I'll give her that. We should be ready for anything. Something tells me Ludwig isn't finished with us yet. Pleasant dreams.
For the camp of an official Adiran envoy, I was expecting a little more. A proper bed, at least. But I suppose this will do for now. As long as you have a bath, of course.
I suppose a bath can be arranged, if you ask nicely.
I always ask nicely. But as riveting as it is to complain about our accommodations, I imagine you have another topic in mind?
That jar you had me fetch for you earlier, is it worth much?
I'm the only buyer you'll find here, and I already have the jar. A lesson for next time, darling. It's always worth some haggling. Unfortunately, it's been quite some time since I've met another who focused on the godless as I do. And I imagine I'd be more knowledgeable on the subject than anyone else you could find.
Is that how you got that burn? Running around old flammable ruins?
I've yet to be burned in a single flame trap, and I don't intend to start anytime soon. Fair guess, though. When I got my first grimoire as a child, I was trying out some of the fancy new spells I'd been given. I was attempting a simple illusion spell, but I must have slurred my words. The next thing I know, everything was on fire.
The incantation for reflection is one stress syllable from flame. Perhaps that's where you made your mistake.
That was my assumption as well. Barrett's balls, it's nice to know I won't have to dumb things down with you. What is childhood but for silly things? When else can you get away with arson? My father was able to pull me from the flames as my mother doused them. I burned myself badly enough to give myself some vivid dreams, but the house still stood at the end.
Did you ever end up getting that spell right?
Of course. Now I only burn those that deserve it, like mosquitoes and university administrators. The only lasting damage was my burn mark and the dreams.
Yeah, that burn must have been painful at the time.
Usually I enjoy a bit of pain, but this was a bit too much. I wouldn't recommend it. As delightful as you are, we've much to do and less time to do it in. Shall we go?
Tell me, where did you learn to hunt?
Early on, I learned from a warden named Ilinka. After that, I learned a lot from just going out and surviving on my own.
I'll bet you're a natural. You make it look effortless.
If you know what you're doing, it's not really that hard.
Some hunt with their eyes and ears, but you are hunting with your soul.
Not sure I get what you mean.
I believe you were a true hunter in a past life. An apex predator, like a Stelgar. You may not know it, but those instincts are still yours. Lying dormant, like a cat in the tall grass.
Right, that's me. Marius, king of the grasslands.
With a little animancy, we could awaken your former self. Wouldn't that be interesting?
Oh no, absolutely not.
Oh well, let me know when you change your mind.
Oh, Envoy, might I steal a moment of your time?
You finally ready to talk about what happened in Emerald Stair?
Well, it's the waiting that makes the payoff so delicious, don't you agree? Look, I lost more research than I'd like to count. But Fiora and its people are safe. That's what matters. Thank you, Envoy. I don't know how you managed it, but whatever you did, you averted disaster. That being said, your ambassador is going to get an earful, and possibly a fistful, next time we're in Paradise.
It's the Stilgarrote you're mad at, not a bureaucrat.
Envoy, you'll find that I'm unreasonable from time to time, so hush. At least we were able to get everyone to safety. Though with everything happening in Thirdborn, safe might be relative. At least I know Temerity will keep an eye on them. I think she knows what'll happen if she doesn't.
You care a lot about the Animancers. Did you grow up in Fior?
Oh, I didn't move to Fior until I was 20. Or somewhere around there, give or take a few years. You see, Emerald Stair has Naku Tedek, a For a young and aspiring godless scholar, it was a godsend, if you'll forgive the pun. And, as a young-at-heart godless scholar, I've traveled outside the stair to other ruins. That's how I met Temerty. Thirdborn's close to Nakukubel, and a girl's gotta eat sometime.
You just traveled and studied ancient ruins. That sounds wonderful. Why give that up?
Who says I did? I still go out often. I've catalogued many ruins, but there are always more. And coming home to a warm welcome is lovely. You should try it sometime, darling.
A warm welcome from the Animancers. How do you get that?
Oh, part of it is my sparkling personality, of course. But a larger part of it is time. It's hard to hate someone when they drop by your lab with lunch after you've forgotten to eat again.
Is that how you met and wooed Quilichi? With snacks?
My mother always said that the way to a man's heart was through his stomach. Quilichi and I got together the old-fashioned way, though. I saw a beautiful man across a smoky tavern. Then I dazzled him with my delightful personality. Then he showed me an abandoned ruin outside of town, and I was hooked.
Why would that concern her? They're like father and daughter. And you lived happily ever after, right?
Oh, it's not a fairy tale, darling. We've been happy for the most part. Any rough patches got smoothed over well enough. I only thought about killing him once or twice. He's probably thought the same a bit more. It's hard to believe that things have changed so much recently. Any sense of safety just went poof. It makes you wonder how everything will turn out.
The people are alive, so there's still hope. Buildings can be rebuilt.
Right. The city can be replaced, but not its residents. Thank you, Envoy. I feel a little less frazzled. I've got a lot to think on. Talk to you soon? Try not to have too much fun without me. How can I help, darling?
What do you think of our travel companions?
We've been traveling together for a little while. I just have to know. Did you purposefully choose such colorful company, or is that just what you attract naturally? I mean, I'm very clearly a delight, so it's obvious why you let me stick around. I'd seen Kai around once or twice, and always thought he was charming enough. He's got a sharp tongue, though. Makes me like him even more. And Marius. I don't know what's lurking in him, but I do think he should speak to someone on it. If he reaches out, do try, will you? As for Giada, well, clearly Giada is a gem. As for me, well, I'm just as riveting as you, but the boys are giving me a run for my money.
Are you implying that I'm the least interesting of our group?
You've got the thorn of a secret god inside of you. I think your uniqueness goes without saying, my dear envoy. You do strike me as a people person. Tell me, do you get along with all you meet?
Yeah. I'm kind of a lady killer. I left more than a few broken hearts at home.
So, you'll be swarmed by well-wishers then, upon arriving home? And some very angry spouses, I imagine. And here I thought I had a wild youth exploring ruins. You might be putting me to shame, dearie.
Come on, you and Quilichi have been simple and sweet all your time together.
Quilichi is quite good at knowing when to be sweet and when to be sour.
Yatsli, that's my surrogate father you're talking about? Spare my imagination, if you please.
Oh, you knew the risks when you came over uninvited, darling. It's on your head. Well, you've satisfied my curiosity. You know, Envoy, we've traveled enough that I think I've gotten a handle on your style. Style of fighting, I mean. Your fashion sense is more opaque. I could probably teach you a thing or two, if you're up for it. What do you say?
You always see the traps before I do. You show me what to look for. I guess perception, right? And this would be intelligence.
Of course, darling. Easy as pie. What? Out of breath already? Talk to one of the boys. See if they can help with your stamina, dear. Well, I've taught you all I can. Let's hope you put it to good use.
Going diving into ancient ruins doesn't make much sense to me. You're going into some of the most deadly places in the lands. On purpose.
They're not any more dangerous than the rest of the living lands.
Right. But I'm there to keep people from making stupid mistakes. Like diving into ancient ruins on purpose.
Well, if you keep others out of the ruins, I have to go in. Who else will if I don't?
No one has to. If people were meant to go there, there'd still be people there.
Oh, you're so sweet for worrying, dear.
I mean, I swear to the Ascendant Gods, you're about as hard to read as a Valian romance novel.
So you've read those romance novels, then? Should we start a book club?
Right, we're done here. I'll be over there doing something else.
Do you think those Adirans were onto something? Or were they onto something before you ended their studies? Do you think they could have cured the Dream Scourge?
Do you?
I think it was worth a try, at least. I just hope we made the right decision.
Right, wrong, it's all a matter of perspective. We're going after the source, and that's what matters.
I suppose you're right. But we missed an opportunity to learn more, and we won't get such a chance again. I hate to see it slip through our fingers. Had you left them to their own devices, who knows what we would have gained. A cure might sound far-fetched, but what if they found treatments for the Dream Scourge, and even other ailments? But our loss, I suppose. Well, that's all I had to say. I'll let you get back to whatever you were doing. Unless there's something else you want to chat about? How can I help, darling?
What Adirans is she talking about? I don't remember stopping research. How do you cope with the stress of travel?
These sudden changes in climate always mess with my coiffure. Does Adir have good fur maintenance products? Do you have a contact for that?
Would have thought you had a full routine by this time in your life.
Unfortunately, your clumsy countrymen ruined my entire stock of ointments when they were trying to burn my house down. And I'll remember that comment. Truly, just a good long brushing through all my fur alone would do wonders. I've got some time before we see Quilici again, at least. It'll give me time to find something to remind him of what he's missing.
We need to pay a visit to Thirdborn.
You're a dear for offering, but no. Let's give him a chance to miss me first. It'll just make our reunion all the sweeter. Quilici and I got used to the stairs early on. Thankfully, at least in Fjord, those stopped eventually. After 30 years, it's hard to still be surprised by us just drinking at the Magpie.
When did Giada enter the picture?
Oh, she was still young. Quilici offered to help her study for and prepare her thesis as a favor to her parents. She was over day and night for months, and, well, now she's family. We adore her. All things considered, it's hard to complain about my life in Fjord.
Yeah, if you tried harder, I'm sure you could find something to complain about.
Oh, obviously. The static from all the animancy can ruin my best hair day. As much as I enjoy our little chats, dearie, we should really get going. Oh, but if you do end up finding any liniments, be sure to help a girl out.
What can you tell me about the Godless?
Careful what you wish for, darling. So, the Godless, or the Akita, as they called themselves, were the original folks who lived in the living lands. They arrived on the shores of a new land and settled there, living with the land instead of trying to tame it.
Where did they come from? Let's try this. The Akita were fleeing, and a storm brought them here.
You sound certain. Well, that would align with my own findings. But how could you know that?
I had a vision in Dawnshore.
Does that happen a lot?
More than I'd like.
Well, sounds like fun. But dubious metaphysics notwithstanding, you corroborate my theory. The godless are so singular. Their art and architecture, you never see it in Rawatai or Ishamatal or, well, Adir. But in their artwork, they reference escaping, fleeing, seeking refuge, so they must have come from somewhere. My guess, they originally came from Yezua.
Yezua.
Yezua, a continent, cut off from the rest of the world, hidden by eternal storms, one of the 3 hubs of the Angwithan Empire. 10 years ago, you could say it wasn't real, that it was a dream, but they said the same of Ukaiso. Suddenly, the appearance of a mythical land doesn't seem so implausible.
If this place was so great, why leave?
There was some kind of schism, an ideological one. From what I can glean, the godless were staunchly against the gods, hence their name. There are even some not-so-kind murals of the gods. It seems like the godless really took their anti-theism seriously.
We read that note in the tutorial area saying that they didn't have any association with the gods at all, I think. Yeah, fascinating.
I know. Well, I think we've covered everything, don't you? Rather, as much as I think you'll withstand. Hope you enjoyed talking about this as much as I did, dearie. How can I help, darling?
What can you tell me about the godless?
Careful what... So...
Alright.
Oh, but my... Yeah, 10 years. From what...
You really are obsessed, aren't you?
I have my reasons. And it is fascinating, isn't it? Well, I think we've covered everything, don't you? Rather, as much as I think you'll withstand. Hope you enjoyed talking about this as much as I did, dearie. How can I help, darling?
Let's talk about the recurring dream you've been having.
Well, I suppose you've earned that much. And I do enjoy rewarding tenacity. Though between your dreams and mine, it's a wonder anyone gets any sleep around here. You remember that I nearly burned my family home down when I was young?
It's hard to forget.
It was an accident. And I paid for it. My parents refused to buy me more spellbooks for years. Well, shortly after all that fuss, the dream began. It started at first with a fire. Just flames, crackling, and a feeling of safety. I thought it was a little weird, but nice. But then the dream kept coming back, night after night. I learned more every time. I saw that it was a fire in a hearth, and that hearth was in an old library. I assumed it was a library, at least, to explain why there were so many tablets lining the walls.
What kind of tablets are in the library?
Oh, everything from dry historical recountings to treatises on agricultural techniques. No romances, though. Whoever filled the library must have been allergic to them.
Did you read any of the tablets?
No, never actively. I had read them all previously, if that makes any sense. That's actually how I learned the Akedan language. Just woke up with that knowledge. Which is very useful when you can find no written records. In the library, there's just one person. But they're wearing a hood, so I never see their face. They do the same thing every night. They curl up in a chair by the fire, hold a tablet to their chest, and then the fear comes. The paralyzing, all-encompassing fear of something.
So the whole dream is that you watch someone not read in a chair.
When you put it like that, it almost sounds boring. Maybe you just need to experience it yourself. But a low, deep banging starts, and it rattles through your bones and shakes you to your core. And it replaces the beat of your heart with this droning on and on and on until you forget every other sound you've ever heard.
A beat. Steel feet on the shore. They come by night.
And then, as it just gets louder and louder, and right before it gets there, I wake up.
You've been listening to too many of Giada's ghost stories.
And let me tell you, waking up in a cold sweat does nothing for my fur.
You don't know the sound's source, I assume.
How sibilant. No. Just that it's all-encompassing. It's strange. I've not told many of the details of my dream. I suppose I must like you quite a bit, Envoy. Don't let it inflate your ego too much. I suppose we should try and get some rest now. I'll have some tea ready for when we awaken later.
Hey, sorry about your parents, you know.
That's very kind. Sometimes grief clings to you like a shadow. And sometimes you wonder where it went.
It's not easy, but you get used to it after a while.
You seem to know from experience.
No, I mean, not really. I've left people behind, though, and it was difficult.
Anytime you want to talk about it, let me know.
Right. Thanks for that. I suppose if you're on a wild goose chase, there are worse places to do it.
Do you know something about Shadowscarp that I don't?
I probably know a lot about this place that you don't. It's rough, but it's very survivable. Yatsley's got you going in all sorts of abandoned ruins. Who knows what's down there? More questions, most likely. And spiders.
Are you afraid of spiders now?
No, why would I be? I just want to make sure we've covered all the options before we dive headfirst into another deadly ruin.
I appreciate your concern, Marius.
Right. Just keep it in mind, I guess. Anyway. Pleasant dreams.
Alright. All caught up with our companions.
Seeds of change. Their petals sprout across the barren land. They sing to the unwanted ones, and the unwanted ones sprout in turn. The soil remembers what it once was. It will soon be whole, safe.
Whose soil? The soil of Shadowscarp?
A name given to the land, not asked for. You see why the parasites are loathed? The soil does not want these cities. It yearns for silence, for the kestrel song. But first, the sprouted ones will grow. They will bring the stillness and the bird song.
Why would you want Thirdborn gone?
The dam falls. The river returns to its source. It is how the land was and should always be. We want all of them gone. We wish for life to flourish again.
There's life in Shadowscarp now. Don't you see it?
pilchards growing on bushes, life that should not be here. Death nourishes the soil. All things come from the rot.
Well, that's not true. That is part of the life cycle. I suppose that's sometimes true.
The dead bear nourishes the pack. We ponder, dream of shifting sands now. We will speak again.
Alright, well, I'm going to call it here, and next time we're going to return to the mines and see if Yatsley can... Actually, we'll see if that tutorial can be looked at now. Nope, still can't look at her tutorial. That's alright, we'll give it a shot, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, because... Yeah, Spell Illusion, it's gotta be it. But we'll see. Either way for now, thanks for watching. I hope to see you guys in the next one.